the new Game of Thrones spin-off show, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, will be released in the year 2025. Many have read A Song of Ice and Fire, but not so many know of the side content outside of watching House of the Dragon. This video will tell you what this new show is all about. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is a collection of the first 3 stories of the Tales of Dunk and Egg. These are the Hedge Knight, the Sworn Sword, and the Mystery Knight. They take place 90 years before the events of the main Game of Thrones series. The Targaryens still occupy the Iron Throne, and the memories of the last dragon still remain among the living. The Tales of Dunk and Egg follow the adventures of the knight Duncan the Tall, nicknamed Dunk, and his boy squire, nicknamed Egg. The 7-foot-tall Duncan begins his story as a squire of a deceased nomadic hedge knight. He adopts his master's equipment as his own and gives himself the moniker Sir Duncan the Tall. He sets off on a knight's tourney in order to earn an income for himself. On the way, he manages to recruit a boy to be squire, nicknamed Egg. This boy, oddly enough, always shaves his head and is of mysterious and influential origins. The dynamic duo travels to the knight's tourney together. As an illegitimate knight, Dunk manages to manipulate himself into the competition, but soon gets in trouble by offending the nobleman, Aryan. Dunk is then dragged into a situation where he must have a trial by combat, and then gets into an entanglement where the squabbles of various noblemen force them to choose one side or the other. The 2 groups of nobles clash in mortal combat. During the battle, Dunk proves himself to be a worthy fighter, and in the end, continues his journey with his squire Egg to Dorne. Duncan the Tall eventually makes his way to the Reach and swears to serve the knight Sir Eustace. Once again, he gets dragged into other people's feuds, this time between Sir Eustace and Lady Webber over land squabbles. Violence occurs, and the situation escalates between a cast of characters that make up 2 sides. In this complex scenario, Dunk demonstrates his moral worthiness as a knight, his skill in battle, and his ability to navigate the situation to a peaceful and successful end. Dunk leaves with Egg to travel to the Wall in the frozen north. They seek service with the Starks. On the way, Dunk connects with a group of knights and lords, traveling to the tourney in honor of the wedding of the Butterwells and the Freys. The victor of the tourney will win the coveted Dragon's Egg. Dunk once again gets sucked into the intrigues and feuds of knights and lords. He fights in the tournament only to find the Dragon's Egg to be stolen, and his squire Egg's life on the line. Like in the previous story, Dunk's good instincts and moral uprightness help him make the right and just decisions. He keeps himself alive as well as Egg. He finds himself embroiled in epic political drama concerning Bloodraven and other nobles, this time more as a witness than as a participant. The final story of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms ends with a cliffhanger. In a way, Dunk's journey has only begun. The Dunk and Egg tales are different from A Song of Ice and Fire. Their scope is much smaller, and the story is very simple and straightforward compared to the overly complicated main saga. It took only a few months to film 6 episodes of the show based on the book. The striking difference between Dunk and Egg and the main characters of the original saga is how ordinary they are. George R.R. Martin is known to create subversive characters, but these 2 are very much traditional. Instead of following the elite of Westeros, we are following the adventures of a lower-class knight, who is written as a heroic underdog. The concept of Dunk the Hedge Knight is very similar to the Japanese Ronin, as both are wandering warriors with no master. Dunk is low-born, illiterate, but at the same time very morally upright, brave and chivalrous. He is ironically a true knight, in contrast to the corrupt and dishonorable knights he encounters in his ventures. So he's a typical stock character in that way. He's likable because he's humble and he's good. Basically, he's the male version of Brienne Tarth. The other member of the dynamic duo is Egg, a smart boy that works as Dunk's squire. He is also a special kid with a secret backstory that's revealed at the end of the story. As the 2 characters progress in their journey, more and more secrets and backstory of the world of Westeros are revealed. So it can be said that the tales of Dunk and Egg are an addition to the saga, and flesh out important details of Westeros' prehistory and world building. The details of tourneys and the culture of lordship is explored to a greater depth than in the main series. Fans will appreciate that the writing style is very similar to A Song of Ice and Fire, with very detailed descriptions of scenarios and background lore. There are a lot of Easter eggs, name dropping, and references to the world of Westeros. But overall, the Dunk and Egg stories aren't as detailed or interesting as Game of Thrones. They aim at being more pedestrian and less epic than A Song of Ice and Fire, and largely hit the mark. They lack the super high intensity and high stakes of the main series. The main problem is Dunk and Egg as characters are simply too generic and too safe. They come up a bit short and are generally kind of forgettable. But I expect that the new show A Night of the Seven Kingdoms will be a potentially good experience if it's well acted and well directed, based on the source material alone. Like A Song of Ice and Fire, the tales of Dunk and Egg are actually unfinished, and are unlikely to be finished anytime soon. So unfortunately, there are no real closure or ending. Overall, I like these stories, but they didn't really leave a huge impression on me. I rate the Tales of Dunk and Egg a 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching. Please help out this channel by liking, subscribing, and ringing the notification bell. Comment below on what you think about Game of Thrones and George R. R. Martin.